Aloha, everybody. This is Dave Wallace coming to you from my home here in Waihawa, Hawaii, and I'm outdoors again. It's nice to have a beautiful day out here and being able to film under our lychee tree. Anyway, welcome to my Monday Talk Story Time. And today I'd like to share with you uh, the results of some experiments that have been running over the past 6 to 8 months. And this has been an exploration of past lives. In the past, I've been considering the possibility of past lives, and from some of my studies and some of my own personal beliefs have been challenged since then. And originally, my thought about past lives is that what we think of as past lives may be what I call ancestral memories. These are memories that our ancestors passed on to us through our DNA. And their experiences throughout their life sometimes is captured in a DNA and passed on from generation to generation. That was one of my perspectives on past lives. And so when I had the opportunity to explore past lives in a more rigorous way, and this involves a tarot spread, some guided meditation, and actually thinking about my experience that I went through in combination. Um, I was able to piece together some of the things that had happened in at least three of my previous past lives experiences or ancestral memories, as I recall it. And when I did this inquiry, and it's a form of guided meditation, and where you can, or some people call this self hypnosis, and I've used this um, method methodology of stepping into my mind and searching uh, for several things. And one of my previous uses of this technology or information was looking at my near death experiences to understand them better. So it's kind of like taking a trip inside of you and looking backwards beyond this current life and searching for um, experiences that I had in previous lifetimes that impact my current life. And that's what I was doing in this inquiry. Like, why? Um, I was looking for incidents that would explain why I behave in a certain way and why my life is heading in a certain direction. And so I'd like to share one of these experiences with you. And one of the most eventful past life experience when I went through the process, I found myself um, and just walking through the guided meditation. Um, One of the first things we do after we project ourselves and looking for a time period, the first thing we do is look down and see what kind of shoes we're wearing. If I'm barefooted or having shoes. And I was very surprised when, in this particular lifetime, I was looking down and I saw myself wearing shoes, and they were um, leather shoes. They were black, but on the side rims and stuff, they were looked like rivets and metal fastenings, and around the edges. And as I looked further up, I was wearing blue pants and I had a white shirt on and I had a bow tie. And I, I was confused because I wasn't too sure what I was looking at, but I know I was pretty young, very young. And after looking at myself and I looked at my hands were small. So I realized I was a child. And as I looked around to see the environment that I was on a ship, and this ship was a tri-masted sailing ship, sailing vessel. And as I tried to look around for any clues as far as time period, I saw a flag flying, and the flag that was flying was a flag that I recognized, being a historian. And this flag was had red and white stripes and a field of blue and a circle stars in a circle. So I knew that this was a ship that belonged to the United States in its early history, probably in about the 1800s. So I placed myself as a child on the ship, and from what I was wearing, I looked like I was wearing a uniform, and there were metal buttons that were part of my blue jacket. So I had blue jacket on, blue pants on, leather shoes, and people were calling me boy. Boy, come here, do this. Boy, come here, do that. So from the indication, all indication, I was uh, it seemed like a cabin boy, and running errands for the captain of the ship. And so that was the first indication that I was on a ship, and I was out in the ocean. And after being on the ship, and I know that I was basically used as an errand boy and a gopher for this particular captain, and I was passed from one ship to the next. And in your past life experiences stuff, that's uh, that gives me a point of reference. Where am I? Okay, I'm on a ship. I'm a boy. And another part of the meditation skipped ahead further as to look at a turning point in this lifetime. And the turning point occurred many, many years later when I was an adult. And I could see myself in a reflection as I was washing myself. I was in very similar uniform, but this time I was without a shirt, and we were in a battle. An explosion was going on. Explosions on the ship was going on. Boom. I could hear concussions. Boom. Blowing up. And as I looked at my hands were hands of an adult, and I was a young man at that time. And as I looked around, we were fighting. My ship that I was being attacked by another ship, and as I looked across, I noticed a blue flag. Okay, and to me it seemed like a French flag for me. Okay, and that's the sense that I had. And they were shooting at us, and we were shooting back at them. And it was a very hairy situation, and um, I feel very fearful of my life, like something was gonna happen. And there's explosions going on, and I know that we were being hit um, by cannon fire, because I could feel the ship kind of like vibrating and things falling around. And finally, I heard a large screaming and yelling, like people were panicking. And as I turned, I saw a group of men coming over, and they were armed with muskets and muskets and swords. And despite fighting my best, trying to fight them off, somebody got me front and the back, and I was run through with a cutlass. And I remember looking down, and one of the precautions that we take is, some of these past life experiences can be very dramatic and painful. One of the things that we work on is separating ourselves from the actual physical pain. But I could see a cutlass, a sword, being run right through me, and it came from the back and was sticking out forward out of my stomach. And I remember sitting, falling to the ground, crying. And the thing I was crying about is that, I was crying. I was sad for my shipmates, and I wanted to get home. And it seems that, I was making plans to go home. And right before I went home, this battle broke out, and uh, I was killed as a young man. Now, the turning point for this, after I looked, when I finished this, I felt really sad. Like all of my hopes and dreams that I had planned was cut short. But as I looked at the lifetime, and in reflection of this lifetime that I had just experienced, what was my most important? Um, what was the most important lesson I learned from this lifetime? And what came out is my sense of duty and loyalty to my friends and my family. And I could have jumped ship like when when the enemy was boarding the ship and stuff. A lot of the sailors on my boat, they stood and fight. But once they found out, hey, we were outnumbered, they started jumping off the boat. I don't know if they could swim or not, but I stood my ground and fought. And by standing my ground and fighting for my ship and fighting for people that I cared for, I lost my life. So this is something that I really feel passed on to me and into this life, where um, I'm very loyal to the people that I love, and I'm willing to give my life for them. And it's something that is greatly ingrained in me. Also, um, I started a life of service from the time I was really young, and there was a part to find out how did I end up such a young boy working on a ship. And actually, uh, as a young boy, I was one of a whole bunch of kids that my family had, and they were trying to find ways to, you know, uh, basically, I was sold to a ship's captain for some money because my family needed money, and so they sold me, and I became part of. They sold me to a ship's captain, and I became basically his property. Was I abused? Yes, I was. However, the sense of duty and service was there. Okay, and so the sense of duty and service to man, to people, is what I feel I learned from this life, this particular lifetime. Anyway, so whether it was a past life or a past memory, this is what I learned, and I'm grateful for some of the things that I learned from this particular past life, and I'll continue doing more experiments to take a look at other past lives to see other examples of things that or values that I picked up from my previous lives. But in my three experiences that I've had so far, two of them I was a crew member on a ship. Two of them. One was a ship in the 1800s, and another one seemed more like a Polynesian canoe. Okay, and I'll share that experience the next time. Anyway, until next time, this is Dave Wallace from Waihoa, Hawaii. Hoping you folks enjoyed this story, and see you folks next time. Okay, and this is Dave Wallace again from Waihoa, Hawaii, saying aloha.